The youth unemployment numbers released by Statistics South Africa on Tuesday confirm that young people continue to be the most vulnerable in the job market, with nearly 1 in 2 young people between the ages of 15 and 34 being unemployed. South Africa's official unemployment rate has dropped by 0.2 percentage points to 31.9 in the fourth quarter, down from 32.1 in the previous quarter, however. The withdrawn budget doesn't see a focus on strategies that have the potential to stimulate the economy while including young people. Instead, it shows an attitude of attempting more with less and unclear plans on how to extend the public employment programs in the medium term. Clotilde Angelucci, acting project lead at Youth Capital, joins us now. Clotilde, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. If we look at programs like a few years ago in Gauteng, there was the TEPO 1 million program, which had found itself in a different configuration now called Nasispani by the current premier. And if we look at a national level, there being the youth unemployment stimulus program, which offers various incentives to companies for employing young people and giving work opportunities to young people. One has to think that surely those programs would have made a dent in the youth unemployment crisis in the country, but it seemingly hasn't. Are these targeted initiatives successful and impactful, or is there a need for a holistic, systematic overhaul of how we view jobs and what role the private sector plays in job creation?
Thanks for having us and discussing youth unemployment in this light. So research shows that public employment programs have the potential not only to bridge young people with work experience, especially in a country where 8 in 10 young people who are unemployed have never had a formal job before, but they also have what it's called like a multiplier effect, which means like leveraging the stipends that young people receive really promote consumption in the economy. So it's a really like double investment on the one hand. On the other hand, what has happened in South Africa is that these programs have been funded just for 1 year term, so not for the medium to long term. And that has really hindered the potential of connecting young people with exit pathways. There have been reviews of public employment programs, and they have confirmed the fact that the funding needs to be extended, but also the necessity of really including local municipalities into their design and application, as well as not just looking at skills development, but also looking at how do we stimulate demand. We often look at youth unemployment and we feel, oh, there aren't enough jobs for young people don't have the skills. But we must also remember that South Africa has had a stagnant economy for the last 12 years. So we're simply not creating the number of jobs that we need.
Yeah. If we look at who really is unemployed, it is the uneducated and unskilled youth that's unemployed, because graduate unemployment in this country is hovering around the 9% figure. I think 8.7 was the last figure I'd seen, stabilizing, of course, after the COVID-19 impact to the labor market. So graduates are at a great advantage of finding employment, meaningful and gainful employment. It is the unskilled and uneducated that can't find jobs. That tells us one thing, that the economy is not ready and suited to absorb low skills labor, and that we're not a primary-based economy. How do we turn that around? Or in the alternative, how do we ensure that companies are more willing to employ young people who aren't necessarily graduates, but for graduate level job opportunities?
And this is a very important question, because incentives or tax incentives have really been at the center of these discussions. So we know that only 1 in 2 young people that start basic education will end with a matric. So I think it is important to look at this aspect from a basic education perspective as well. So the Department of Basic Education has been piloting what is called the General Education Certificate, which is in grade 9. It will give school leavers the ability of receiving a certificate, which is really important for them to continue the education and training journey. But at the same time, we really need to look at the existing tax incentives for businesses. So if you look at the BEI, but also at the employment tax incentives, there's been some of the insights that have come is that they're really not targeting small businesses, that there are often the first point of entry for young people. So we should really relook at like how these tax incentives are being leveraged, and how do we shift the focus to make sure that young people who might not have matric or just have got matric have the ability to enter the labor market.
Yeah. Clotilde, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Clotilde Angelucci is the acting project lead at Youth Capital.